Hey, what's up everybody? So today what we're going to be doing is we're going to be using this uh, bore gauge, I believe that's what it's called, and this is the bore gauge, this is a dial indicator, I believe. We're going to be using the combination of both of these to check all of the rod bearings and make sure that all the clearances are good. So far, I've checked a couple of them so far, they're looking good. I think I finally figured out how I want to actually measure these. So I'm going to show you how I'm measuring the rods. The crank, I mean, it's kind of, you just slip this over, you make it so that it's tight on both of these, but still, you can still move it around perfectly. And then you call that your little number. I don't know if you guys can see it, but it is 1/10 over the 0. So this is 2101. That is the current measurement on this, or 21001. Nope, 2.101 tenths. That is how big the crank is, which is about what the crankshaft should be. The small block Chevy crank is is 2.100 inches. I measured 2.1001. So obviously that's super close. Margin of errors, it gotta be a single tenth, so that's fine. And so what I'm doing with the how I'm measuring everything is I'm taking my little dial indicator, I'm taking my little bore gauge, and I'm putting it inside, and then I'm not going to show you guys really, but I'm putting it inside, and then I'm taking the highest measurement I get from inside of here, which means it's the tightest point, and I'm reading that on here, so I know that that is my total distance right here. So this is a smidge under the what do you call it? So actually it's a smidge over 21 or 2.100 inches. So that means that every time this goes in a little bit, I can tell how much. So I know that this measurement on here is 0.008. It is 8 thousandths of this measurement for this. So the number that I'm looking for on this is 0.0055 for 2.5 thousandths of an inch bearing clearance. That's what we're looking for the rods. So far it's looking like that's good. I actually just measured this one right here. This one measured 0.0025, so this was perfect. The two that I previously measured also looked good. So now I'm just going to go through and show you guys how I measure one or two more, and then we will go from there. So let me get that all set up over here, and then I'll show you guys how it looks. Alright guys, so as you can probably barely see, I've got my rod inside of my bench vise right here, and I've got it secured. So the first thing that I'm going to do is slide my bearings down inside here. Make sure that they're in a good spot. They're flat on both sides. Oh, this one's got a little bit of plastic gauge on it, so I just want to remove that. So believe it or not, that little bit of plastic gauge will actually throw off the dial indicator about 1,000th or so. Okay, so I've got this one cleaned. I'm going to slide my bearing on here. Cool, that bearing's on there. I'm going to line up the side that's got the, what do you call that? The side that's supposed to go towards the crank, not the other bearing. This one is remarkably tight for some reason. I don't like that one bit. There you go. I'm not sure if it just hit like a small snag or something, but that's fine. So now I'm going to put my little bolts down, or sorry, nuts. Tighten that down. Alright, now I'm going to torque this to the 45 foot-pounds that it should be. And just in case anybody is wondering, I did measure the crank on all of the piston spots to make sure that they were the same diameter. So I know that the diameter I'm working with over here is good. So now I'm going to take my dial, my bore gauge, and I'll slide it in here. And then I'll just kind of work it around until I find the highest spot that I see, which is 5.5 thousandths. So let's go to another spot and measure there. 5.5 thousandths. And five thousandths. So that means that that has 3 thousandths of bearing clearance, but in the center it was 2.5 thousandths, which is perfect. Honestly, that's exactly what you want. So let me go grab another piston. We'll check that one. I don't know how I'm going to get these rod ends apart to get it back on the crank, but that is not a right now problem. But so far, all of the, what do you call it? Wow, I just lost my train of thought. So far, all of the clearances are looking good. No major issues that I've seen. Nothing that I'd complain about. But oh, that's what I was going to say. So using the dial indicator and the bore gauge saved me a ton of time with having to mess with the plastic gauge on the engine and all that other not so fun stuff. I'm really glad I spent the money on these tools to get this done. So I was dying. I was infuriated with how hard that was, and it shouldn't be this hard. But that's fine. That is what it is. We're just going to keep going and putting these rods on, these bearings on. So it's just trying to shave the back of this coating off because these pistons are so sharp. Alright. Match the grooves together. Tighten this little guy down. Okay, it's done. Alright, so my number is off by 1/2 of a thousandth. So I'm just going to get this reset and check my clearance again just to make sure. Okay, so it definitely moved a little bit. Alright, so my maximum is now showing 8.5. Yeah, so I now see a maximum of 8.5 after I reset it. So now I'm just going to use that as my base measurement for this one. So now I'm looking for a 6 thousandths. There you go, there's my 6. Five and a half. That's looking like 4.5. So that might actually be a little bit too much clearance, but it's mainly when you're checking the clearance, you just want the center of the rod cap. So alright, so I'm getting a 6 right there. Yeah, so that's 2.5, which is perfect. That's spot on for what the engine machinist said. All right. Go. We're getting 5.5. 5.5. 5.5. And the indicators being a little, let's just see. I'm just going to double check that I'm still at an 8. Yep, still an 8. So 5.5 is perfect. 2.2 clearance. 2 more pistons, and then I can go work on the crankshaft. So I did still buy the undersized crankshaft bearings. The plastic gauge on the crankshaft is a lot better than what these ones are, because I can actually put it on there the way I want to put it on there. So I'm still going to put the undersized crankshaft bearings and test them with the plastic gauge on the center caps. I guess actually I could try and use the micrometer and the, that's what it is, the micrometer and the bore gauge on the main caps as well. So I'm going to finish up the last two pistons and get that all set up, and then I'll show you guys how I check the crankshaft main bearings clearance. Alright guys, I'm sorry I don't have it in me to continue working on this, but I got all of the rods taken apart, everything's checked, everything's taken back apart, it's all prepped to go back in the block. So now all I got to do is finish measuring the three main crank bearings on the, well, for the crank, and then it should be good to go. So yeah, that's it. I will continue on this as soon as I can, but until then, I hope you guys take care, and I'll see you soon.